Hello, welcome back to another FPL video. I hope everyone is doing well. We're currently in the middle of the international break, and what does that mean? That means we can tinker. That means we can plan for the upcoming game weeks. And whether you've been planning on hitting that wild card for a while, or you just think, now is the time. Today we're going to be taking a look at a draft/template to take you into the coming game weeks very nicely. If you are new right here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for daily FPL content. Hit the like button if you do enjoy the video, and let's get straight on into this one. So I've gone ahead here and populated some of the draft/template already. We've got the double up on Spurs here, Kane and Son. Now, one thing to consider about them is they do have a blank game 33. However, they are guaranteed a double gaming at some point against Southampton. So I think Kane is most definitely essential in my opinion. I think Son's very nice to have, and from game 34 onwards, Spurs do have very, very nice fixtures. Obviously, Son is one to look out for. In terms of his injury, I do think he will be back for the Newcastle game as we get a nice 2-week break, but definitely one to monitor. Then we've got Bruno Fernandes in the midfield there as well. The consistency that this man has provided throughout the season has been absolutely unbelievable. He's always a good captaincy choice, and just in my opinion, definitely should be in the team. Then we've got Azpilicueta and Cresswell at the back there. Obviously, like the two Spurs guys, Azpilicueta does have a fixture missing, but we'll also be getting a double game week at some point for the rest of the season. And although he does have the one fixture missing, I think that Chelsea have been such a solid defensive side. He's been playing every single game, so for me, he definitely kind of has to be in there. Cresswell as well. Just, the attacking returns and general points that Cresswell has been getting so far this season, for me, you just can't not have him, especially from about game week 34 onwards. Cresswell looks like a pretty unreal asset, so maybe you can plan to get him in, but I still think up until that point, he's got a couple of nice fixtures where he could easily go and haul. Now, we will come to in a minute the kind of premium discussion, as there's quite a bit of a discussion to be had there because not too many premiums are actually before me. So it's kind of which ones do you go for if, you do go for one. But first, we're going to take a look at the goalkeeper spot. Now, many of you, like me, may have a lot of value held up in Martinez, so you may be like a little bit sorry to see him go. Now, if you do have a lot of value in Martinez, you could go for the rotating goalkeeper, just because Martinez has really, really poor fixtures in the back end of this season. So someone like Leno actually rotates very, very nicely. But if you don't fancy the rotation, the man I'm going to put in here is Nicky Pope. Burnley have a very nice sort of set of fixtures towards the end of the season, so I do think for me Pope is definitely going to go in there. He's very good for bonus points and very good for save points as well, and when he does get a clean sheet, he tends to haul, so Pope definitely for me is going in there. And actually, for the other keeper, we're just going to lob Martin in there, as he's a 3.9 million goalkeeper, which is actually the cheapest goalkeeper out there. Now with Pope, you don't really have to worry about kind of having another goalkeeper rotating because he doesn't blank in any of the game weeks. So 5.5 million you may think is a little bit steep for the goalkeeper spot, but you have to consider also a lot of people will be rotating with sort of a more expensive combination of, say, a Pope X Martin. And as I said before, the next thing to come on to is the premium asset discussion. Now, realistically, you probably want maybe one more premium asset. For the likes of Jamie Vardy, Aubameyang, De Bruyne, Salah, Sterling, and all of those guys I've just named aren't really having the kind of top tier seasons that we kind of come to expect of them. Salah obviously at the start of the first half of the season was absolutely smashing it and could be considered essential at that point in time, but of late Liverpool have not been playing too well. Aubameyang's just getting rotated a lot. De Bruyne likely to see some rotation. Obviously he had that injury, which is unfortunate for him. Same with Jamie Vardy, gets injured quite a lot as well. And also with the likes of Vardy, with the likes of De Bruyne, they miss out games. De Bruyne misses 2 games, Vardy misses 1 game, but also in the next kind of 3 game weeks has a very bad run of fixtures playing against Manchester City. So yeah, I just don't think Vardy's the one for me. I am going to lob in Salah there just simply to put a premium asset in there, but dependent on your plans, whether you really want to kind of attack the double game weeks when they do come around, the likes of Jamie Vardy playing against West Brom or is due to play against West Brom in a double game week, you could kind of just, say go Salah, say put Jota in here instead of Salah, just to have that Liverpool player, because Liverpool do have very nice fixtures, which is kind of why he is in here. But if you do really want to target that kind of double game weeks that will be coming at some point, you could hold off on that money and upgrade one of the forwards that we are going to put in there in a minute to the likes of Jamie Vardy. In terms of the rest of the midfield, I feel like having one dud midfielder and then one kind of mid-tier midfielder is going to be the way to go. The likes of Smith Rowe offers such good value, coming in at 4.2 million. So I think for the 4 spot, I'd be going anywhere from about 5.5 to 7 million. Now, some of you may already own Rafinha, who does play against Sheffield United in the coming game week, so you may want to hold on to him for that game week and then bring in a player like, I'd say, either Neto or Lingard would be the two that I would personally go for. Personally, I really like the look of Neto. He's got unbelievable fixtures in the next 5 game weeks. Obviously, starting off against Liverpool, which, you know, isn't actually the worst fixture in terms of attack. But after that, he plays against the likes of West Brom, Fulham, Sheffield, Newcastle. I mean, it's going to be an unbelievable run of fixtures for Wolves. So I think Neto has to go in there for me. And I think for the final spot, we're going to go for a dud option. Now, this obviously depends on kind of whether you want 3 attackers playing or whether you want to use all the midfielder spots, because the midfielder spots this year have been quite precious and there are a lot of good players in the midfield. Say you wanted to get Jesse Lingard as well as Neto, you could put him in this final spot, but just because one player in particular offers such good value, and that man being Smith Rowe, I just think he, at 4.2 million, a player who isn't going to play every single week, but will probably at least get you 1 point and actually has the potential of getting some kind of attacking returns, especially with the blank game weeks coming up. You're probably going to find yourself utilising your bench, utilising the likes of Smith Rowe in the coming game weeks. So I think at 4.2 million, for me, he just kind of has to be in there. Now, in terms of the rest of the attack, I would really like to go for someone like Calvert-Lewin or Richarlison, but because we do have Salah in there, the budget doesn't quite allow you to do so. I'm trying to keep this team between kind of 1.2 and 1.3 million, which means we have to look towards the attackers in the 6 to 7 mil bracket, which this year, to be fair, there have been plenty of good attackers. Now, obviously, this once again does depend on your plans. I will, however, be putting straight away one main man in there, and that is Antonio. He's got quite a nice back end to the season. He does not blank at all, and West Ham are really going to be gunning for that Champions League spot towards the end of the season. So for me, Antonio has to be in there, especially if you don't have the likes of Jesse Lingard. If you do have the likes of Jesse Lingard instead of Neto, I'd maybe not go for the triple up of West Ham, although I do think it offers some decent value. It just, yeah, for me, it's a little bit too much into one side, but they do play in every single game week towards the end of the season, so it may not be the worst thing. Now, as I said, I would really like to be putting the likes of either Calvert-Lewin or Richarlison in here, just because they also play every single game and are due a double game week. So I think actually owning Everton assets could be pretty massive in the coming game weeks. But one main man who hasn't had the best of seasons, but mainly due to injury, is Chris Wood. Now, Burnley have some very nice fixtures coming towards the end of the season, and with the likes of Ollie Watkins having blank game weeks, I feel like you could go for Watkins if you really wanted to attack the blank game weeks and you're happy for him to just kind of sit around on the bench for the next 5 weeks and just have him sitting there, and obviously make the plans to have the rest of your team rotate in. However, for me, Chris Wood, until the end of the season, has some quite nice fixtures, and so that's kind of why he goes in there. But there are also a lot of players kind of around that price bracket who you definitely could go for. So this isn't me saying, like, you know, you have to go for Chris Wood. It's just an option for the rest of the season, and that's for the rest of the team up. The defence, the next main man, I'm not even really going to think about this one for too long, to be honest. This is going straight on Luke Shaw. Manchester United of late have actually been a lot more solid at the back. Luke Shaw loves the bonus points, and he also gets a couple of attacking returns as well. So I think that Luke Shaw at 5.2 million does offer some really good value. And those 3 at the back, Azpilicueta, Creswell and Shaw, would kind of be the basis, I would say, of your defence. These 3 guys would just, basically be in there week in, week out, no matter what. Now, the next 2 defenders, I think, really kind of, as I say, once again, depend on your personal plans. You could go for the likes of Semedo, you could go for the likes of Tierney, both of whom have very nice fixtures you can target for the coming game weeks. But with the team we have built, you're kind of setting up to play a 3-4-3 every week and only rotating out Azpilicueta for that one blank game week that he does have, and you could quite easily do that with just having kind of a couple of fodder options. And so with that in consideration, I think with the next 2 spots, you can have probably a fodder spot and a player who can actually attack the blank game weeks. And for me, that is actually a Vestergaard. Now, obviously, Southampton's defence hasn't been too incredible of late, or this season, really. But Vestergaard does have the potential to pick up attacking returns and is actually due a double game week. And he does have in 35 and 36 fixtures against Fulham and Leeds. And if either one of those is kind of combined with a double game week against Crystal Palace, then that looks like an unbelievable kind of game week to own the likes of Vestergaard. So for me, Vestergaard, I think, is a very good option to kind of be in there, sit on your bench, and then just rotate in when he does get the double game weeks. And in terms of that last spot, we're going to be going complete fodder. We're going to be going Struijk from Leeds, because he actually is playing most weeks at 4 million. I think, he offers some pretty decent value. He will play most weeks, and Leeds, actually, to be fair to them, defensively have kept a lot more clean sheets than I realised. I think they've kept 8 clean sheets, which is the same as the likes of Arsenal. It's more than Everton. So I think Leeds defensively aren't actually too bad. It's kind of just when they concede a lot. But they have actually managed to pick up a few clean sheets. So I think just as a fodder option, Sturridge is an absolutely fine option to go for. And yeah, here is the wildcard draft / template coming in at 102.7 million. Obviously, there's kind of a lot of things to plan for with the blank game weeks, whether you want to just completely go for teams that have really good kind of fixtures up until about 34 and then rotate those players out for when we get the double game weeks in the future. I think there's still a lot more things to be announced in terms of double game weeks in the future, what's going to happen with the last game week. So obviously this is not kind of like a finalized draft / template. But I will say that Azpilicueta, Creswell, Son, Fernandes and Kane, for me, should kind of definitely be kind of going in the template of your draft each time you build it. And then I'd say kind of the level below that, maybe the likes of Neto and Antonio, just because they have really, really good fixtures coming out and basically throughout the rest of the season. And the rest of them just kind of, yeah, just go with the flow. Even Luke Shaw, actually, I think that Luke Shaw is a great option. So I hope you have enjoyed this quick little look at a wildcard template. Let me know down in the comments if you're thinking of wildcarding or just any general transfers you're thinking of making for the coming game week 30 and basically onwards. We've got a lot of things to plan for with these new blank game weeks being announced. But if you have enjoyed the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button for daily FPL content, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.